Dear students, in the last class, we derived the expressions for velocity, orbital velocity of the satellite and time period of the satellite. These things we derived and then I had stopped that class. Let us continue that topic here today in this class. Today let us discuss these factors. The first one is geostationary satellite. What's the satellite? See, here we are discussing on the artificial satellites, man-made satellites. One of them is the geostationary satellites. See, the satellites placed into the orbit, which are made to revolve around the Earth in the prescribed orbit. There are actually three types: geostationary satellites, geosynchronous satellites, and polar satellites. The geostationary satellites, they always orbit around the Earth in the equatorial plane. Say, if this is the equatorial plane, the geostationary satellites, they orbit around the Earth in the equatorial plane. Their orbit is the circular orbit. They prescribe in the prescribed orbit is in the equatorial plane. It is a circular orbit. Whereas geosynchronous satellites are the satellites having the orbit it will incline to the equatorial plane. So this is the orbit of the geosynchronous satellite. The geosynchronous orbit is inclined to this equatorial plane. And one more is the polar orbit. The satellites are also made to orbit around in the polar orbit. Polar orbit means the satellites, they move from the north pole to south pole. And in this orbit, they revolve around the Earth. So, depending on this, the satellites are classified as geostationary satellites and the polar satellites. Geostationary satellites, they revolve in the plane or the orbit which is in the equatorial plane. Now, what is a geosynchronous satellite? Geosynchronous satellite is a satellite orbiting around the Earth in an orbit which is a little bit inclined to the equatorial orbit in the equatorial plane, and this geosynchronous satellite orbits with the period equal to that of the Earth. That is, period of rotation of the Earth about its axis. What's the period? It is 24 hours. The period of rotation of this geosynchronous satellite is 24 hours, same as that of the Earth. You know that Earth rotates about its own axis. The time taken is 1 day, nothing but 24 hours. Whereas geostationary satellite, it's also having the same period. The period of geostationary satellite is same as that of the Earth. It is also 24 hours. But the difference between geostationary satellite and geosynchronous satellite is, geosynchronous satellites, they just have the period 24 hours, but their velocity is not same as that of the Earth, or the direction of rotation is also not same as that of the Earth. Whereas geostationary satellites, their period of revolution is 24 hours, same as that of the Earth about its own axis, and geostationary satellites always orbit around the Earth in the equatorial plane, and their direction of rotation is same as that of the Earth. And whatever the direction of rotation of Earth, it is from west to east. In a similar manner, geostationary satellite also rotates in a direction west to east. And angular velocity of the geostationary satellite is same as that of the Earth. And these are the difference between geosynchronous and geostationary. Geosynchronous and geostationary satellites are similar only in one factor, it is the period. Other things are different. And the geostationary satellites always appear to be at rest. As the name says, geostationary, the satellite that appears to be stationary. Why? What's the reason? Why it appears to be stationary? Because its direction of rotation, period of revolution, and velocity of rotation, everything same as that of the Earth. Therefore, the geostationary satellites always appear to be stationary. Say for example, if you observe the geostationary satellite at a position, say exactly over your head, then always you find that satellite at the same position. It appears to be at rest because Earth and the satellite are in their relative velocity is 0. They are moving with the same period, same velocity and same direction. This is about the geostationary satellite. The satellite becomes geostationary only when these conditions are satisfied. What are the conditions? Period should be same as that of the Earth, 24 hours. Direction of rotation should be same as that of the Earth from west to east. Angular velocity should be same as that of the Earth, and the satellite should revolve around the Earth in the equatorial plane. Then only that satellite becomes the geostationary satellite. Next is shapes of the orbits. See, we discussed in the previous class, whenever a satellite is launched, the rocket carries the satellite to a certain height, to the required height. There, the rocket gives the required velocity to the satellite and makes the satellite to move in the horizontal direction, gives it a horizontal velocity so that the satellite can move around the Earth in the circular orbit. The shape of the orbit of rotation of the satellite depends on the velocity with which it is injected at that height, at a prescribed height. Suppose the velocity given is exactly equal to the orbital velocity. When the velocity given to the satellite by the rocket, if it is exactly equal to the orbital velocity, then the shape of the orbit will be circular. The satellite takes the circular orbit. It rotates in the circular orbit. If the velocity is between the orbital velocity and the escape velocity, so I had explained both orbital velocity and escape velocity in the previous class. What is escape velocity? The velocity, the minimum velocity required to make the satellite to escape from Earth's gravitational field. If the velocity is between these two, less than escape velocity, more than orbital, in that case, the shape of the orbit is ellipse. The satellite takes an elliptical orbit. It rotates in the elliptical orbit. Suppose the velocity becomes exactly equal to the escape velocity. When v equal to Ve, in that case, the orbit becomes a parabola. Shape of the orbit is parabola. If the velocity is more than the escape velocity, in that case, the orbit becomes a hyperbola. Further in place, the velocity is very high, very much greater than the escape velocity. This is the shape. It's a straight line or v equal to infinity. These are the shapes taken by or shapes of the orbits of the satellite depending on the velocity of injection into the orbit. With what velocity it is injected or with what velocity is projected from the rocket in the given orbit. And see here, these two orbits are called as the closed orbits and these two are the open orbits. Closed orbits are the orbits around the Earth itself in the inner space of the Earth. The open orbits in the outer space. For the space probe, to probe the outer space, this satellite should be projected with a very high velocity so that the shapes of the orbits becomes parabola or hyperbola, or the orbits become the open orbits. This is about the shape of the orbits. The third one is factors required for proper injection of the satellite. See, the very much required condition to make the satellite to revolve around the Earth in the prescribed orbit, in the designed orbit. It is nothing but, see, there are three factors. The three factors are very important to make the satellite to revolve around the Earth in the designed or prescribed orbit. The three factors are velocity of injection, the direction of injection, and these are the velocity of injection, direction. One more is altitude. Yes, the altitude nothing but height. At what height that satellite should be injected into the orbit. These three factors are very much important to make the satellite to revolve in the designed or prescribed orbit. Velocity, it should have a definite velocity. For the circular path, it should have a velocity equal to the orbital velocity. Minimum orbital velocity is 7.8 kilometers per second. With that velocity, that satellite should be launched at the required height. What is altitude? Height. The height is also, the altitude is also a very important factor which decides the shape of the orbit of the satellite. If the height is not equal to the designed one, in that case, the satellite may fall on the surface of the Earth. So, velocity, altitude and direction. At what direction it should be injected? To make the satellite to revolve in the circular path, the satellite should be injected in the along the horizontal direction. The velocity should be given in the horizontal direction. Then only the satellite can describe the circular path. If the direction of injection deviates from this horizontal direction, then the shape becomes the ellipse. The path may be the elliptical path. The velocity is very high, then the path becomes either parabola or hyperbola. It becomes an open orbit. In that case, satellite escapes beyond the Earth's gravitational pull, moves to the outer space, and these are the factors which decide the orbit of the satellite. Fourth one is perturbation of orbits. Perturbation, say some disturbance is produced in the orbit of the satellite. The orbit will not remain the same, whether it is circular or elliptical. The orbit will not remain the same throughout the working condition of the satellite. There are factors which affect the regular path of the satellite. The factors which affect are, one is shape of the Earth. It is called the oblateness of the Earth. Shape of the Earth decides this smooth functioning of the satellite in its orbit. Another factor is atmospheric drag, the resistance offered by the atmosphere. And third one is sun and moon factor. These three factors which decide the smooth function of the satellite in its prescribed orbit. Shape of the Earth. Earth is, say, flattened at the poles and bulged at the equator. This is the shape of the Earth. This variation in the shape, that means variation in the mass distribution. And the geostationary satellites are revolving around the Earth in the equatorial plane. So, in the equatorial plane, mass distribution is large compared to the regions in the polar regions. Compared to polar regions, in the equatorial plane, mass distribution is small. Suppose the satellite is revolving in the orbit, in that equatorial plane, then the gravitational force exerted by the Earth on the satellite, it is large there in the equatorial plane compared to the polar regions. So that this gravitational force of attraction may change the orbit of the satellite. It may disturb or it may perturb the orbit of the satellite. But disturbing means the satellite may move from its regular orbit. Suppose this is the actual orbit, the orbit may change like a little, and that may lead to because of that, there may be some problem in the functioning of that satellite. In order to bring the satellite back to, suppose actually this is the orbit of the satellite, if it gets disturbed, the orbit becomes like this, then the satellite has to brought back to the original its path. It is done using some thrusters. Some rockets are used to push the satellite back to the actual path. So one factor is oblateness or the shape of the Earth. Second one is sun and moon factor. See, the rotation of Earth around the sun and rotation of moon around the Earth, that also affects the orbit of the satellite. This is sun and moon factor. Third one is atmospheric drag. See, the resistance offered by the atmosphere of the Earth on the satellite. The resistance of the atmosphere, it may drag or it may pull the satellite from its orbit. Because of this, there may be change in the shape of the orbit. This may also cause some dysfunctioning of the satellite. So, these are the factors. This is nothing but the perturbation of orbits, the change in the actual orbit of the satellite due to these three factors. The fifth one is re-entry problem. This re-entry problem is related with the entry of the satellite back to Earth. The satellite is launched into space using the rocket. Once the rocket leaves the satellite there in the space, its function is over, the rocket is completely destroyed, then only the satellite starts working in its own orbit, there in the space. Once its functioning is over, suppose that satellite has to come back to the earth again. Suppose it has to be brought back to the earth, then that's called re-entry of the satellite. But the re-entry of the satellite is not that easy. While coming back, once the satellite enters into the Earth's atmosphere, it enters with a very tremendous velocity. The velocity which it enters is very, very high, and if the velocity is so high, then the friction or the opposition offered by the Earth's atmosphere to the motion of the rocket is very high. That may lead to increase in the temperature. The temperature may increase up to from 6,000 to 7,000 degrees centigrade. Such a large increase in temperature takes place, that may lead to, if there is no protection for the spacecraft or the spaceship to bear with or to withstand this temperature, then there is every chance that the spaceship may burn off. See, that's what happened when that space shuttle Columbia was launched by America. That when Columbia entered the atmosphere, it burnt off, and the astronaut, Indian origin, called Kalpana Chawla, the NASA astronaut Kalpana Chawla, she is from India. She is from US. It was a disaster at that time because of the re-entry problem of the space shuttle Columbia. Since it could not withstand that high increase in temperature, that collapsed in the space itself. This is about the re-entry problem. Usually, the re-entry problem, see, now to make the satellite, that space shuttle to enter safely into the Earth's atmosphere, some booster rockets are used. The rockets are called retro rockets. Some retro rockets are used. The retro rockets are the rockets burning in the front portion of the satellite. They are burning in the front portion, so that these rockets, they exert thrust on the satellite in the upper direction. As a result, there will be reduction in the velocity of the satellite. Velocity reduced means thereby reducing the friction. This is how the space shuttle is brought back into the Earth using retro rockets. And also to withstand the high temperature created there in the atmosphere while during re-entry, shielding materials should be, proper shielding materials should be used to withstand the temperature. This is about the re-entry problem. Next, what are the uses of these artificial satellites? The artificial satellites are mainly used for communication and for Earth observation and also for remote sensing. These are the three main uses of the artificial satellites. Communication means usually geostationary satellites are used for this communication purpose. The relay of signals all over the world for telecommunication or for transmission of radio signals or for the internet or for the mobile signal transmission. For all these things, these geostationary satellites are used. This is nothing but the communication purpose. The geostationary satellites are used. And one more thing, I forgot to tell that, geostationary satellites, they are always placed in an orbit at a height of 36,000 kilometers. Its period is 24 hours, and you have the formula for period related with the height h. So from that, if you calculate the height, it comes out to be 36,000 kilometers. Geostationary satellites are placed at a height of 36,000 kilometers. Some of the satellites are placed near the Earth's surface, nearly around 2,000 kilometers. Those satellites are called LEO satellites. LEO means lower Earth orbit satellites. LEO, lower Earth orbit satellites, nearly around 2,000 kilometers. They are very close to Earth's surface. Some of the communication satellites are LEO satellites, and LEO satellites, their period of rotation is 90 minutes. Every 90 minutes, they come around the Earth. These LEO are used for communication purpose, and they are also used as the spy satellites. The LEO satellites are also used as spy satellites. Since they are very close to the Earth's surface, they can keep a watch on the eye, or they can examine the happenings on the Earth very clearly or very easily. These are the LEO satellites which are very close to Earth's surface. And there are also satellites called polar satellites. Polar satellites revolving around the pole to pole in the polar orbit. They are moving. They are also very close to Earth's surface. Polar satellites usually used as the remote sensing satellites. Polar satellites are the remote sensing satellites. And this is about the, we were just talking about the uses. One of them is communication for purpose. Satellites are used. Remote sensing. Remote sensing means in mapping the agriculture land on the earth, or mapping of the dry land area, or mapping of or finding out the minerals present in the deep interior of the earth. For all these things, remote sensing satellites are used. Third one is earth observation for weather forecasting and to give the signals about any happenings like earthquakes or tsunami. These cautions are also given by these earth observed satellites. These are the uses of artificial satellites. The last topic is India's space program. India entered into space program in 1962. India's space program started in the year 1962, and in 1965 ISRO was established. In 1965 ISRO was established. What is ISRO? What's the full form? Indian Space Research Organization. Its headquarters is in Bangalore. ISRO headquarters is in Bangalore. It was established in the year 1965. Dr. Vikram Sarabhai is said to be the father of India's space program. He founded a research center in Ahmedabad. Dr. Vikram Sarabhai founded a research center in Ahmedabad, and one more research center, Tata Institute of Research, was established by Homi Bhabha. And in 1972, India's Space Commission was established, and in 1975, India's first satellite, Aryabhatta, was launched into space. Aryabhatta was launched into space in 1975. After that, the series of Rohini series was launched. After that, INSAT series was launched. INSAT 1, 2, 3 and so on. INSAT series satellites were launched into space. What's INSAT? INSAT is Indian National Satellite System. Indian National Satellite System. The series of satellites were launched into the space. Those satellites are the geostationary satellites, and those geostationary satellites, they serve the purpose of communication. After launching the INSAT series satellites, India became independent in communication. After this, INSAT IRS satellites were launched, IR series. Indian remote sensing satellites, series satellites were launched into space. After that, GSAT satellites, that series was launched into space. Then RESAT means radio imaging satellites. That series satellites were launched into space. Kalpana 1 is the first Indian satellite used or launched for weather forecasting purpose. Kalpana 1, named after Kalpana Chawla. Then so many developments were taken in the field of space research, or in the Indian space field. So many developments were taken. Then in 2008, India was successful in Chandrayaan 1. A space shuttle was sent into moon, landed in moon in 2008. Chandrayaan 1. That mission is Chandrayaan 1. Then in 2013, this is Chandrayaan 1. 2013, Mangalayana mission was successful. Mars orbiter mission was successfully completed. It was launched in the year 2013, I think it's August, in the month of August. Then that spacecraft landed in Mars in the year 2014, around November, I think. So it took nearly 1 year for that space shuttle to move up to Mars. It was successfully completed, that Mars orbit mission. Mangalyaan mission was completed. Then in 2019, one more mission, it is Chandrayaan 2, but it was failed. And India is now undergoing so many other missions like Aditya mission and exploration to Venus. All these things are going on in the field of space science in India. And this is about the India's space program. So many things you can find out if you Google and just go through it. So many informations you get there. And with this, I stop here. Thank you.